Hello and welcome back to Learn Linux TV. In this video, what we're going to do is walk through the full installation procedure for Rocky Linux 8. Rocky Linux is a pretty cool distribution because it keeps the tradition alive that CentOS used to have. CentOS used to be a binary one-to-one compatible drop-in replacement for Red Hat Enterprise Linux, but without the subscription cost, which made it very attractive to administrators all over the world. Now recently, CentOS has changed direction, and it's no longer a binary compatible version of Red Hat. But thankfully, distributions such as Rocky Linux, they're keeping that alive because Rocky Linux is compatible with CentOS. That means if you had a server that was running CentOS, then you should be able to actually migrate your workload from that server to a Rocky Linux server, and it should behave exactly the same. I'm going to walk you through a full installation of Rocky Linux. Now on this channel, if you didn't already know, I use real hardware to capture footage, so you will see the process on an actual device, not a virtual machine. I always use real hardware on Learn Linux TV, unless I let you guys know otherwise. Now, Rocky Linux is very common on servers, but I don't have a server in front of me today. But what I have instead is this laptop right here, which is a ThinkPad X1 Extreme, and that's what I'm going to be installing Rocky Linux onto. Now, to be fair, Rocky Linux is a distribution that is most often going to be installed on server hardware. However, sometimes you might want to install a distribution like this on a workstation, and that's perfectly valid. So what I'm going to do right now is walk you through the process of installing Rocky Linux 8, and you'll get to see the process right here in this video, so let's go ahead and get started. So here I am on my laptop, and what you're seeing is the actual boot menu of my ThinkPad X1 Extreme. So what I'll do is press F12 in my case, and then I'll go down here to the USB hard disk option. Of course, on your end, the verbiage might be different. You're basically looking for whichever option pertains to your USB flash drive, and then you'll select that option. So in the interest of time, I'm going to jump ahead and choose the first option here to install Rocky Linux. And now we are booting up. Alright, so the installer is up on my screen right now, as you can see. And the first screen is simply asking us to choose the preferred language for the installation process. In my case, it defaulted to US English, but on your end, if your primary language is something other than that, you could choose that language, and then once we have that selected, you can go over here to continue. And what that has done is brought us to the main menu of the installation process, and we're going to go through the majority of the different sections here. But what I like to do first is to click here for network and host name. And the reason why I like to do that is because some of the other things on the menu actually need network access. So in my case, I'm just going to get that out of the way first. Now, as you can see right here, I have 3 different network interfaces that I can use on this computer. So what you'll want to do is choose the one that you want to use. Now, I don't recommend that you choose wireless. Not only is that uncommon for servers and enterprise equipment, but there's another reason as well that I recommend that you don't choose that and instead go along with Ethernet, at least for the beginning. In my case, I know that the first option is the one that I want because I do have a network cable connected. This one here mentions that it's unplugged, and since the interface that I'm using does indeed have a network cable plugged in, then I know this is the one right here that I want to use. So let's enable it. As you can see here, my computer has received an IP address, and down here we could choose the host name for our machine as well. I'm going to leave that as the default here. I'm not going to customize that, but on your end, you could just change this name to whatever the name of your device is on your network, or whatever you want the name to be on your network. Anyway, I'll click done. So now that we have that done, what we could do is go through the other sections here that pertain to the installation. The first option, under keyboard, in my case has defaulted to US English, similar to the installation. Now if you wanted to use a different keyboard layout, you could click the plus sign here and choose the layout that you want. I'm going to click cancel because I'm good with this default option right here, and I'll click done. for the installation source, we shouldn't have to change that, but I will need to change the installation destination, so I'll click on that. Since I only have one hard disk on this computer, it went ahead and selected that for me. There's no other choice, so that makes sense. So on your end, just select whichever hard disk you want to install Rocky Linux onto, and then you click Done. Now, unless your hard disk is brand new from the factory, more than likely it already has data on it. Now at this point, I'm hoping that you've already backed up all the data on your hard disk that you want to keep, because this process will actually wipe out everything. Anyway, I'll click Reclaim Space, and then I'll click Delete All, and then Reclaim Space. And what this will do is make sure that Rocky Linux is the only operating system on this computer. Next, let's move over to software selection. On my end, I'm going to leave it on server. We have other options here, but I think the server option is ideal, at least for me. On the right-hand side, we have a list of software selections that we can choose, and you could choose as many or as few of these as you'd like. Now, since I'm actually installing Rocky Linux onto a laptop, I will need a GUI. Well, actually, I don't need a GUI, but a GUI is a good idea on a desktop or a laptop, so I'll choose that. And in addition to that, what I'm going to do is choose some of these other options here. For example, performance tools. These are all just personal choices, so you could choose whatever you'd like. I'll install security tools, system tools, and you know what? I think that'll be enough for me. Now, I do want to let you guys know that even though I chose to have a GUI installed, for some reason that I cannot understand, that actually won't happen. But what's going to happen, even though I chose this option, is that the computer is going to boot into a command line mode, basically, and not into the GUI. Again, I have no idea why that's the case, but we will fix it, so don't worry about that. Now, of course, if you are installing Rocky Linux on a server, you probably won't want a GUI anyway, so I'm not sure how many of you watching this will actually care about GNOME, but it's just something that I wanted to mention in case you run into the same problem that I did. Let's click Done, and we'll move on from there. Now for time and date, I do recommend that you click on that. And the idea here is to get this pointer as close to your geographic location as you can. It doesn't have to be exact, just exact enough to where it's going to choose the proper time zone. And technically, it already did that. Right here, it shows New York, and well, that is the correct time zone. I'm actually closer to Detroit though, so I'm just going to choose that. I don't actually live in Detroit. I'm about an hour, probably an hour and a half away from Detroit, but it's closer, so that's what I'll choose. Again, it doesn't have to be exact. If the time zone is correct, then, well, you're good. This option here for network time synchronization, I recommend that you turn that on if it isn't already. If you go into the time and date settings before you set up the network, it might be turned off. You might have to go back in this particular section and turn it on. However, because I went to this particular screen after the network was already brought up, it went ahead and enabled this for me, so I'll leave that on and click Done. Now there's a few other sections here that I didn't go over. I think for most purposes, what we've done so far is what most of you will need, but we'll still need to set up users though. First, what we'll do is click on the root account and set a password for the root account. So I'll type in the password that I want to create for that user right now. Make sure you remember it. So basically, all you have to do is just type in your password twice. Hopefully on your end, it shows strong for the password string. If it doesn't, you might have to click right here where it shows done twice instead of just a single time. That's just to make sure that if it shows a message that your password isn't calculated as being secure, that you're aware of it. But in my case, it shows that my password is strong, so I will only need to click this once. Next up, we will create a user for ourselves. We definitely don't want to use root all the time. So you can just type in your full name right here. I'm just going to cheat a bit and just put in my first name. It doesn't really matter. I will make myself an administrator. And then I'll type a password for my user as well. and I'll click Done for that. So we should be good to go. I will click Begin Installation. And now the installation has begun. So what I'm going to do is fast forward time all the way to the end of the installation process, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I have successfully sped up time, and I'm here at the very end of the installation process. And from the verbiage down here, we can see that the installation was successful. Now earlier, I mentioned that I don't recommend Wi-Fi. And the reason why I mentioned that is because, well, Wi-Fi is best used when you have a graphical utility to connect to a Wi-Fi network. It's not that you can't connect via Wi-Fi, you certainly can, and I've tested it and it does work, but it's just a pain. It wouldn't be so bad if the GNOME option actually functioned the way that it's supposed to and gave you a usable desktop environment, but that's not the case here. So let's go ahead and reboot, and then I'll let you know how to fix that. So here we are at the boot screen, and this is a great sign. I'll just go ahead and let it boot to the default selection there. And I don't know about you, but I just love scrolling text. It looks so fun. And now we have successfully booted our brand new Rocky Linux installation. Now on my end, I have a 4K screen, and the text is very hard to read. So what I'm going to do is just enlarge this in post, so that way you guys can actually see what this says. But despite the fact that I chose to have the GNOME desktop as part of my installation, I would have thought that it would have booted into graphical mode, but it clearly didn't do that. So I'm going to take care of that right now. If you are installing Rocky Linux and you don't really care about having a GUI at all, then you don't need to do what I'm about to do. In that case, well, you're all set. What I'm about to do right now is only for the subset of my audience that actually might want a GUI. So if you do want the GUI, then you can follow along with what I'm about to do right now, and that should get that working. I'm going to log in via root, and the reason for that is because, well, I have to fix the GUI, so I'll type root for the username, and then for the password, I'll type that in. And we are logged in. Let's make sure that we have a network connection. So I will type IP show. And as you can see, I do in fact have a connection. I have an IP address, so I should be ready to go. And let's go ahead and fix the desktop. So what I'm going to do is run DNF, and then group install, and then in double quotes, server with a capital S, with, and that's lowercase, and then uppercase GUI. And if this works, it should actually download everything it needs, basically the things that it's missing from the selection that we've selected during the installation. It should get all the remaining pieces of that, so I'll press enter. And it looks like it's working. So it's refreshing, it's basically indexing the packages that are available on the repository end of things, and it's going to install quite a few packages. So I will answer with a lowercase y that will designate yes, I do in fact want to install these packages right here, and I'll press enter. And due to the number of packages that need to be installed, this is going to take a few minutes. So I will again fast forward time, and I will meet you in the future when this process is complete. Now during the process, you might see a message like this. It's perfectly fine. The first time you install a piece of software from a repository, you might have to confirm it, and I'll do so by typing Y and then enter. I'll go ahead and let this run, and I'll be right back. Alright, so it looks like that part is all set. And we have one more command that we'll need to run to activate graphical mode. So I'll type that in right now. And what this command is going to do is set the default boot mode to graphical mode, which will finalize our changes and give us a GUI when we restart our computer. So I'll press enter. And that was quick. That's all there was to it. So what I'll do is reboot my computer right now. And if this works, we should actually boot into graphical mode. Let's see what happens. And I'll let it count down. And check this out. We have a fully working Rocky Linux installation that's ready to go. And in my case, I have the GNOME desktop also ready to go. So I'll just click through this real quick. Basically, we're just choosing our language options at this point, so nothing too amazing right there. So here I have a list of Wi-Fi networks that are in my area. And I don't care to connect to Wi-Fi right now, so I'll just skip that. And for location services, I will leave that on. That's up to you. If that's something that you don't plan on using, you could turn that off, but I'll leave that on. If you have any of these 3 online accounts, you could choose to set those up, but I will skip that for now. And we should be good to go. And check it out. Our Rocky Linux installation is ready to go, and that's awesome. So now you have your very own installation of Rocky Linux all set and ready to go. And I have to say, I'm really pleased that the developers of Rocky Linux have decided to give us something that can help us keep the old way of CentOS going and alive and well on our servers today, and that's awesome. So hopefully this video has helped you out, and if it has, then please consider clicking that like button to let YouTube know that other administrators might benefit from this content as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.